Good morning, boys and girls. We are starting a brand new chapter today, and that means that we are now on chapter 10, which is so exciting. This chapter, we are working on converting measurements, and we are actually starting with customary length. So you should be familiar with the types of measurements that we're going to talk about today. But instead of just staying in feet or inches like you're used to, we're going to work on how do we convert feet to inches and so on. So before we can get started, there's a few things that you have to know. And that is 1 foot equals 12 inches. And if you have a piece of paper, I would make sure that you write this down because I will let you use these notes on your test for this chapter because I don't expect you to have all of this memorized by the end of the chapter. And so I'm actually going to upload this exact note page. So if you have a printer, feel free to print it off. If not, notebook paper works just as well, okay? So 1 foot equals 12 inches. 1 yard equals 3 feet. 1 mile is 1,760 feet. Oh, sorry, yards. And 1 mile is also 5,280 feet, right? So that tells us that 1 mile, 1,760 yards, or 5,280 feet are all the same distance. They're just measured in different units. So you can see that we can travel from inches to feet to yards to miles. You start at the smallest and you go to the biggest. If you go from small to big, you have to divide. If you go from big to small, you have to multiply. So because there are 12 inches in 1 feet, if we go from inches to feet, we divide by 12. If we go from feet to inches, we multiply by 12. Same thing with feet to yards. If we go from feet to yards, we divide by 3. But if we go from yards to feet, we multiply by 3. Then we have yards and miles. If we start small at yards and go big to miles, we divide by 1,760. If we go from mile to yard, we multiply by 1,760. That means that if we're going from mile to feet or feet to mile, we could use 5,280. The cool thing about this is you can see right here, we're going to go from miles to feet. Well, since we're going big to small, we would have to multiply by 5,280. If you forget that, this little chart right here will help you so much because you can take each step. So you see, we start with 3 miles, so we would start at mile, and we need to get to feet. So you could take your starting number 3, and if you can't remember that you're supposed to multiply by 5,280, you can do the jumps. You can multiply by 1,760 to get yourself to yards, and then you can multiply by 3 to get yourself to feet, because 1,760 times 3 actually equals 5,280. So if you can't remember that, that's okay, because this chart is going to help you, and you can take those separate jumps instead of multiplying all at once. So since we kind of already talked about that one, let's go ahead and do it. We would have 1,760 times 3. So I'm just going to put that right up here. And this takes us from miles to yards. 3 times 0 is 0. 6 times 3 is 18. So I drop my 8, carry that 1. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22. So I drop that 2, carry a 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5, and I'm at 5,280. Okay, but am I finished? No, because that took me to yards, but I need to get to feet. So now I have to take 5,280 and multiply by 3. Again, 3 times 0 is 0. 8 times 3 is 24, so you drop a 4, you carry a 2. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. And 3 times 5 is 15. So our answer is actually 15,800 140 feet. So that means that 3 miles is the same as 15,840 feet. And all we did was we started at miles, we moved to yards, and we moved to feet by following our little jumps that are written for us. Okay, let's go from 2 feet to how many inches? Okay, I know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. I'm starting at feet, which means I'm starting big. I'm going to inches, so I'm going smaller. That tells me I have to multiply. And it'll be by 12 because there are 12 inches in a foot, sorry. And so if I start at feet, I have 2 feet. I need to multiply that by 12 to get to inches. I know that 2 times 12 is 24. So 2 feet is 24 inches. We're going to do 2 more together, and then you'll see these 4 at the bottom are going to be your tried out problems on Wiser. Alrighty, so we're going from 5 yards to blank inches. Well, I don't know how many inches are in a yard based on what I have up here. But I do know that I can go from yards to feet and from feet to inches, right? Look at my chart right here. I can go from yards to feet, from feet to inches. So if I'm starting with 5 yards, I need to multiply by 3 to get to my feet. So 5 times 3, I know, is 15. But that says that there's 15 feet in 5 yards. I'm trying to get to inches. So I'm at feet, and to get to inches, I need to multiply by 12. So I have 15 times 12. If you don't know that in your head, set it up. 15 times 12. 5 times 2 is 10. Drop that 0, carry in 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. Bring down a 0 because we're moving to the tens place. 1 times 5 is 5, and 1 times 1 is 1, which tells me that 15 times 12 is 180. So that means that there are 180 inches in 5 yards. The last one we're going to do together is from inches to feet. We're starting small and going big. We haven't done that yet. That means instead of multiplying, we're going to have to divide. So we have 48 inches. So we can look at our chart and start at inches. We're going to feet. So 48 inches divided by 12 will give us our number of feet. Does anybody know what 48 divided by 12 is? If not, you can write it out. But think, 12 times what equals 48? 4. Great job. So 48 inches equals 4 feet. Y'all did awesome today. Remember, write this down. This chart will help you. Use this chart on your assignment. Keep it with you every time that we're doing these measurements, okay? And hopefully by the end of the chapter, you will have this stuff memorized because we're going to use it so much, but I don't expect you to have it memorized now. So use this chart, use these notes, okay? If you have any questions, please let me know. Don't forget to do the short assignment right below this.